I cannot give a truly complete, all Ohio government actions report for July 27, 2026 from the material provided, because the search results are limited and do not include a full official statewide calendar, all agency releases, or a comprehensive legislative docket for that date. What I can do is provide an in-depth report of the Ohio government actions that are supported by the available sources. And I will note where the record is incomplete. The clearest statewide executive branch action in the results is the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce's EMIS newsflash for July 27, 2026, which announced new student data collection reports now available in SDC, including a significant disproportionality, identification only, report 1. This is an administrative data system update rather than a policy change, but it is an official Ohio government action dated July 27 and relevant to school districts and education reporting compliance. 1. A major public communications item on July 27 was Dr. Amy Acton's campaign statement supporting a conditional moratorium on data centers if developers do not meet specific requirements. 3. Because this is a candidate statement rather than an action by a sitting state agency, it is not an Ohio government action in the formal sense, but it is a policy proposal directed at state governance. The proposed conditions included full payment of utility costs, exclusive union labor, transparency, environmental compliance, community benefit agreements, and locating projects in former industrial areas. 3. For legislative activity and enacted law. The available July 27 reporting does not show a new bill signing on that exact day, but it does provide context that Governor Mike DeWine had recently signed 4 bills into law, including Senate Bill 262, Senate Bill 263, Senate Bill 273, and House Bill 359. 4. The reported provisions were: Senate Bill 262, requiring public entities and contract parties to clearly mark deviations from standard construction contract forms. Senate Bill 263, simplifying professional employer reporting to the Ohio Department of Jobs and Family Services. Senate Bill 273, the Keep Them Safe Act, creating rules and immunity protections for voluntary firearm storage, and House Bill 359, creating the Joshua Alert for missing children with autism or developmental disabilities, eliminating waiting periods and enabling a statewide alert response. 4. The source frames these as a Thursday action, not explicitly July 27. So they should be treated as adjacent context rather than confirmed July 27 actions. 4. The strongest evidence of other Ohio government activity on July 27 is indirect, from media roundups describing state and local actions that were occurring that day. Cleveland.com reported that the Ohio Department of Transportation announced 33 roadway safety projects across 23 counties, funded by $72 million from the Highway Safety Improvement Program. 2. This is a substantive statewide transportation action, but the result excerpt does not provide the underlying official ODOT release, so the project county count, and funding amount should be treated as reported coverage rather than independently verified official text from the source excerpt. 2. The same Cleveland.com roundup also reported that the Cleveland Planning Commission unanimously approved demolition of the former U.S. Sugar Co. complex on Carnegie Avenue, clearing the way for the city's Midline redevelopment initiative on a 10.3-acre midtown site. 2. This is a local government land use action within Ohio on July 27, 2026. 2. The roundup further reported schematic approval for Bedrock's proposed 6,000-seat riverfront amphitheater in Cleveland's Flats, with a targeted opening in May 2028. 2. That is another municipal planning action, though it is not a state-level action. 2. Another local Ohio public action described for July 27 was Rocky River City Council's planned vote on a $6.7 million contract for the Beechcliff and Cornwall Sewer Improvement Project, with funding coming from city funds, a suburban water program, and an Ohio Public Works Commission loan. 2. The report identifies Fabrizi Trucking and Paving as the lowest of 3 bids. 2. Because the item says the council was set to vote today, this indicates scheduled legislative/administrative local government action on July 27. But the excerpt does not confirm the vote outcome. 2. There is also an Ohio State Medical Board communications item for July 2026 referencing updates to monthly formal actions and the site list, plus public hearing notices, legislative changes, and the launch of the Recovery Ohio statewide treatment finder. 5. However, the Facebook snippet does not specify that these were all released on July 27, and it does not provide enough detail to identify the exact actions taken that day. 5. It does, however, indicate that the board was actively publishing regulatory and public health information during the month. 5. For judicial activity, the provided results do not include an Ohio Supreme Court daily archive entry for July 27 specifically, but they do point to the court's daily announcements archive as the official repository for opinions and case announcements. 11. Since the July 27 docket content is not shown in the supplied excerpt, I cannot reliably list Supreme Court actions for that date from these results alone. 11. For enforcement actions, the supplied search results do not show a July 27 Ohio enforcement press release from the Ohio Attorney General, Ohio EPA, Ohio Department of Commerce, or other enforcement agency. The closest enforcement-related item is the State Medical Board's mention of its formal actions and site list, but the excerpt does not identify the actual disciplinary actions or case outcomes for July 27. 5. I therefore cannot responsibly report specific statewide enforcement actions for that date based on the available material. For public events, the results include the Ohio County Board of Education regular meeting held July 27, 2026, but the result is only a video listing and does not provide the agenda, decisions, or participants. 6. Because the question asks for Ohio government actions, this could be relevant only if Ohio County refers to the county in West Virginia rather than an Ohio governmental body. On the face of the result, it does not establish an Ohio state or local government event. 6. What can be stated with confidence from the provided sources is that July 27, 2026 included at least one official Ohio education data update, continued publication activity from the State Medical Board, local planning and infrastructure actions in Cleveland and Rocky River, and statewide transportation project funding reported by media coverage. 125. The search results do not support a claim that they capture all Ohio government actions for that date, and they do not provide enough direct official source detail to enumerate every legislative, enforcement, and public event action statewide. 12511. If you want, I can turn this into a tighter agency-by-agency chronology for July 27, 2026 using only the actions supported by the results, or I can attempt a broader reconstruction by inferring from the official archives named in the results.